Development here at CSI, and you are here for the FRease Best Practices and Product Overview presentation. We are recording this, so we'll put it up on the website later today. But if you do have questions during the presentation, please feel free to type them in, and we will address them during the Q&A session. Other than that, I'm going to turn it over to Doug.
Hi, you guys. Thanks for taking time out of your day. I don't remember what this was scheduled for, but we should have you out of here in about 30 minutes. So thanks for giving up part of your midweek morning, or if you're on the in the UK, thanks for giving up part of your afternoon. So we invited all of our clients that use any of our products, so that includes anybody using iMerge, our Duke Merge tool, our Outlook integration, iEmail, iMove, which is our national change of address tool, so you can get all your address changes without shutting down iMIS. Meeting Closer or Event Closer for closing your events without losing any detail. Our Freight Rate Importer product. Our iImport, the easiest tool to import data into iMIS. Our iMap product for geolocation services. Activity Importer Plus for bringing in activities. Our online donation tool. Our tool for editing both Rise and public view sites to change wording and things that Rise and public view just don't support yet. Profile Editor, our high-end profile editing tool. Our newest product, iDocument, for documenting your entire iMIS database. And of course, FRease, which stands for Fundraising Made Easy. So we're going to go over the why we created it and how we created it. We're going to go over what we see people doing with FRease and kind of just some steps that you may not have known that FRease could do, because this is designed for FRease end users. I'm going to talk about that in the next slide. Some stuff about what's new, stuff you may not have known about, other important stuff to remember, how you can get the latest version, how to get help, and if there's any Q&A, we'll have time for that as well, all in 30 minutes. So since 2008, we've sold FRease to about 30 organizations. FRease was created when I was sitting with an organization who needed to edit a gift. And there are about 12 steps to edit a gift in iMIS if that gift has been posted. And I said, well, what's the big deal? Let's go through those 12 steps. And as we went through those 12 steps, you had to be very careful not to make a mistake. And when we were finished, it was about 10 minutes. And this was just to change the ID on a gift. And they said, see, that's 10 minutes. And I said, what's the big deal? And they said, well, this is happening about 2 to 3 times a week. So it's 30 minutes out of our life doing minor gifts. So we took it upon ourselves to create FRease. Really wasn't something that we ever planned on hitting big time with. It was more for the community. Today we are on 1.2.22. We started on 1.0, and a lot of the things I'm going to show you today were based on suggestions from our clients that use FRease, and we'll talk about those. So thank you so much for being a customer. These webinars are for end users of FRease. They are not sales webinars. They're really designed to show people how to use the product. We started running these webinars when we realized that clients were paying their software update fee and not even putting the latest version on and not realizing all of the great stuff we have. So I talked about the idea behind FRease, and really we decided, well, what needs to be edited on a gift or pledge? Really the key is to change non-financial stuff, stuff that is not going to mess with the auditors or your accounting system or anything like that. So ID is a common one. And I'm going to show you this in a minute. I'm going to change the ID of a gift that went on a junior instead of a senior. How about the date the gift or pledge was received? That's not an accounting date. Your accounting date is your transaction date, and so the date the gift actually came in is something that should be changeable. The appeal and the campaign are both not financially related to anything in iMIS. And we were getting a lot of requests, hey, we put in this gift, it went to the wrong campaign. It has been exported to our accounting system, so it can't be changed in iMIS. Could you please go in the back door, CSI, and change that? And we're happy to do that. You know, that was a good way for us to make money, but it's not an efficient way to make money. It's not a good use of your money or our time, so that's another case where FRease just is it's a better way to be editing gifts. Same thing with list as. If I need to change the list as after the gift has been posted because it's printing wrong in our annual thank you publication. If you're doing solicitor stuff and I need to change who the solicitor was on the gift. Acknowledgement information if you're using the built-in acknowledgements in iMIS. Tributes, Notes, a lot of people put special notes on a gift. You can't change those once the gift is posted. I'd have been responsible for a lot of income. So how about the ability to change unpaid installments on a pledge? Believe it or not, those are not financial. The overall pledge dollar amount doesn't change, and I'll show you that in a minute. Then we got a little crazy, and we said, how about the ability to change the distribution and/or fund? And that's a risky one. That's risky because that has accounting implications, and yet it's an important thing that certain people need to be able to do. So we added that ability, but we kind of locked it behind some access keywords, and I'll show you how to set those up and/or adjust them. That really was key because we didn't want someone who didn't know what they were doing changing those fields. So by default, you can't change those. And once again, it's a special need when you have to do it. Accounting has to say, yes, we've made the change on our end. It's okay, make the change in iMIS. So we needed one more important thing, an audit trail. And a lot of people that are using FRease don't realize there's an audit trail of changes that are made. I'm going to show you how you can see that. By default, we kind of leave it hidden. It's something you can turn on in iMIS, but the data's there. It's just not really visible. So typical things we see people doing with FREs, changing an ID on a gift. And by the way, it means paid. They aren't. Correcting a list as, adding a soft credit. Here's a fun one that we added due to a request. You know, sometimes someone goes in and they're not doing too well. It's a Monday and they do every gift that day wrong. They use the wrong campaigner appeal on every gift. So you can actually find all transactions in one day. I'll show you how to do that. And then I'll talk about changing the distribution. So let's go ahead and do it. We're going to do it fast, okay? Because that's really what all of our products are designed to do these days, is really go fast. So I can just go ahead and start typing FRease, and as you notice, if FRease is installed, I have both my user guide and my program. We spend a lot of time on our user guides. We'll talk about those in a minute. I'm going to go ahead and log in. This is our new login screen. If you are not seeing this, then you're probably on an older version of FRease, and we'll talk about some of the advantages of Senior, a gift was put in on his record, and it turns out we actually have two James Harrisons, right? A senior and a junior, and it was junior who made the contribution. And this was the exact issue that our client was running into when we created FRease. They said if it got put in on senior, it needs to be on junior. So as I double click that, I can now pull up the gift. I can go right out here and do a search, go find the other Harrison, and we're going to go ahead and let's go James. Notice these fields build on each other. So now I'm going to go ahead and move it to junior. Important thing when I do that, I'm going to get a little warning message that, hey, thanks a lot. That's a good idea, but we're not messing with the donor club. So you need to go out there and see if senior had a donor club on his record. You're going to need to re-enter it on junior. So just a little heads up on that. We added that somewhere along the way because we don't feel it's a good idea to change or go and recalculate donor clubs because at least for our clients, so that, you know, although I talked during that time, I did it in less than a minute, and that takes about 10 minutes to do an iMIS with a lot of backing out and whatnot. So that's done. What else can we do? Well, let's go ahead and pull up this cool guy named Doug Morris, or he'll be Douglas today because he's in trouble. And it turns out Doug's running a little bit of a financial challenge. And he made a pledge way back when, earlier this year, and he has not paid anything on it. And he calls and he says, hey, things have been bad. Starting, though, October 1st, I'm ready to do it, or starting October 26th. So I can go ahead and bump all of these dates. Nothing's been paid. I can go out there and kick up the month on all of these dates. I can move that all the way to October. I could adjust the day. I can automatically click this and go to the last day. I could delete this actual one. If he says, I can't make any payments this year, but I'm going to make 3 next year, I can delete this installment by hitting delete selected. And then I'm going to need to adjust these amounts to add back up to $1,000, or I'm going to need to add another installment. And normally I wouldn't do that because I would just keep bumping this to 2016. But in the case of Doug saying, I'm going to pay you all in 3 installments, go ahead, and it'll be $333. You could delete this installment and then kick all of these amounts up. Once again, there's really no financial implication here. The gift was recognized when it was put in, and so that's very powerful. If you're in here and you're messing around, installments are a little tricky. We recommend you do as simple of a change as possible. They're goofy in terms of the way iMIS tracks them. It's not a good idea to go and delete one and add 6 and then delete another and do all that. It's best to just keep it simple when you're playing around in here. So I'm going to hit save, and it's automatically updated the pledge. Dates are changed. Everything's updated in iMIS. It's that easy. What's another example? How about the list ads? We talked about that, right? Morris. Let's go and look up Michael, my long-lost brother. And there it is. And so Michael said, you wrote Mr. Morris as the list ads. I hate when people call me Mr. Morris. It's the Morris family. So changing a list ads is that easy. I'm done. It's updated. Any report that we print in iMIS has been updated. It's all there. Same kind of thing that if I wanted to, I could go out to the soft credit. Say Zach was partially responsible for that. I can just go out here and add a soft credit. I can even add multiple ones if I want to. And find the record I want. Now when you put the soft credit in, notice you need to go ahead and put an amount out here, otherwise it won't let you off that record. So in this case, I'm going to give Zach soft credit on this. So once again, for those of you using iMIS fundraising, soft credit is when you're giving someone else some pretend credit. And we see that sometimes where our chapter-based organizations have a fundraiser, and the chapter would like to get credit for any donation that came in by their chapter members. So it's not a real taxable credit, but it's a, hey, way to go, this chapter got the highest giving of anybody. So you just get your gift updated, and you can go ahead and close out. Let's see. Here's one that I talked about before, and this was added thanks to Beta Theta Pi. They wanted the ability to pull up everything on a certain date, and so this is an important thing for people that use FRease. You may not know it has this ability. I can go out here and type a date in, and here is every transaction entered on that day. So now I can just double click all of these, say that they all went to the wrong appeal because someone had a really fun weekend. You just go out here and you start changing these appeals. And as you finish changing them, you just jump right back in. The next one's going to update, and you just keep jumping down. You can change everyone out there. It's very simple, very quick. You don't lose your spot in FRease. I'm just jumping down the list, and notice as I click on the next one, that appeal will change to book. So that's designed for when, like I said, someone has a big bad day. So last thing I want to show you is, let's go ahead and go back to that cool guy, Doug Morris. I'm going to pull up his record, and when I pull up this gift, this is every gift he's made, and I go to change the distribution, I get a message that says, hey, FRease needs to be defined in access keywords. Once again, this is exactly what I talked about that you need to adjust for if you need to edit the distribution. And changing the distribution is a very big deal. So it is not something we recommend most clients leave on. If you do need to keep it on, well, so be it. We document this entire thing in our manual. Ultimately, you will need a lookup table called access keywords in your database, and you will need an FRZ access keyword. And that basically is the key, if you will, for changing distributions in iMIS. You then would go find the record you wanted to give it to. So in this case, I might jump out here, and I'm going to give it to this guy, Doug Morris, that logs in. He's a full user, of course, in iMIS. And then down here, you're going to see I've already given it under staff access. I've already given it to him in the access keyword. There it is. If I hit access keyword, you'll see he has that keyword. So now if I log in as Doug Morris, I can actually edit that gift. So that's the concept behind the access keywords in iMIS. And my database is apparently waking up right now. There it is. So I can add AI Plus. That's also out there for Activity Importer Plus. I already have the FRease access keyword, but same sort of thing. So that's a quick thing on how to edit those. Let's jump back. So what have we added to FRease recently? You saw that warning about the donor club. Believe it or not, you couldn't change the check number. And that was kind of a big deal because the check number actually can tie back to a cash account in iMIS. So there was a lot of work to add that. What you'd think would be a very simple request. So the check number needs to be changed. The new module, AutoPay, is out for iMIS, so we needed to add the ability to support that. That's obviously a little tricky, right? You need to go out there and find additional pledges that are waiting to be made or additional payments that are waiting to be made and be able to change the ID on that. iMIS 20, if you are on iMIS 20, you'll notice your fundraising reporting works much faster than it did before. ASI did some very cool things to keep some some tables updated, gift report, pledge report, and we needed to add support for those because when you change an ID, the trigger in iMIS likes to double up the amount. So we added the ability to support those and properly keep those working. You saw that pretty new login control. That goes along with our new installer, and they all combine to a self-licensing system. If you've used any of our products in the past, you notice that when you go to log in, it asks for a license key. And that's the problem if you're in Australia or the UK and we're not up yet at CSI. So you're basically done. You can't get in if you've lost your email. So our product's now self-licensed. They'll call back to CSI and they'll say, hey, can I go ahead and get an access? Can I go ahead and get a license key, please? And our servers will automatically give out that license key. So no more calls saying, hey, I lost it or whatever. Or the other thing that changes is if you upgraded iMIS 20 and you added users or you changed your user count, that also causes FRease and all of our other products to ask for a new license key. And that was a real pain in the butt because people were always changing the number of users, and FRease is not like-based, and you can have 20, 30, 40 people editing gifts. I don't recommend that, but it's not just one computer that it can be installed on. We talked about an audit trail. FRease has always done this. On that one, what you have to do, though, if you want to see it in iMIS, you've got to add that activity type of FRease out here. And we show you how to do this. This is actually in the manual. And so just to walk you through, because once again, this is something for customers, this thing we're doing here. You go to activity types, and you go new. And the type is FRease. And you go out here and say, you know, FRease, edits, or something annual. Down here, I really don't want to allow anybody to edit this. And I could create a tab in iMIS so that you could easily see these things. These are things that really only specific people need to see. So you might even go out here and give that FRZ keyword so that only people that have the ultimate power of FRease could access that. So in this case, I've actually given it to the keyword of FRease. And I'm not going to do that because I won't be able to see it since I'm not logged in with someone that has that. So there we go. And now if you go and you pull up anybody that you've made changes to, and you go to activities, if there have been changes using FRease, you'll see it here. It tells you about the gift information that was changed and what was changed. Here's the installment dates I made. The amounts all stayed the same, but it's all notes. It's the best way to do it. It tells you the manager who made the change, who actually made the change as well. So that's all out there for you, and that's all new as well. So you like what you see? Well, our latest version is 1.2.22. If you can do me a favor and not download this version, we're going to have a patch for FRease coming out at the end of the week, or Monday the latest, once it goes through QA. So although we're doing this, I actually found a nifty little bug in preparing for this. And so although this is the latest release, and although you might have seen something that looks good, do me a favor, don't download this one. We need to make a change or two. And you'll get an email if you're a FRease customer when we publish that to the web. Also, if you follow us on Facebook, we post it there, and we also tweet about it as well. And once we do that, you can go out to our website and click Log On. It's up there in the corner. And if you've lost your log on to our website, go ahead and just email sales@csiinc.com, and we'll get you your login. Once you're logged in, you'll see all the product releases you're current on your software update feed for. And so if you just scroll down from there, you'll see FRease. One of the things we do is we make our documentation available there as well. So that's powerful. If you say, hey, FRease 1.2.23 is out, what did they add? Because that sounds neat. You can go look at the documentation, and it'll tell you what was added. So that may or may not be something that matters to you. So for instance, when we added the AutoPay documentation, if you're not using AutoPay and you don't need that right now, or you have no plans of adding that, that's totally cool. Don't download that release of FRease. When you go ahead and download the actual product, it opens up as a file. Save it out on your network or your PC. Little tip that I do is I have an erase me directory on my PC. That's just stuff that I don't need long term. And so I'll dump an installer out there. And when I do that, I'm just going to right mouse click on it and say run as administrator. Probably the most important thing you can do as a person installing our products. Always install them as administrator. So if you just right mouse click on it and say run as administrator, it'll install correctly on your PC. Normally, everything's user installable, but if it's the first time you're installing and or we've added some major behind the scenes features, you're going to be asked for your SA password or an SA equivalent user name and password. And if that makes absolutely no sense to you, don't worry about it. Your IT people will know about it and they can help you. It's a one-time thing that you have to do occasionally with FRease when we need to do database changes. Once they type in that magical keyword, kind of like at the supermarket when the manager's got to come over and override something, they'll enter that information and FRease will go ahead and finish setting up and you won't need them anymore, which is nice. You get stuck, please read the manual. We have a full-time QA person who also does our documentation, and she gets upset because she also works in support when people don't read the manual. So please read it. We spend a lot of time on our manuals. We think they're professional grade. They are installed, as I said, with the product, and you can download them as well from our website. If you're still stuck, go ahead and email us. Our support email is support@csiinc.com. We need as much information. Nothing worse than FRease isn't working for me. If you can tell us the ID, what you were trying to do, any changes you've made, and even better, a screenshot. Nothing beats a screenshot. It tells us so much. Give us the whole screen, if you will. So if you happen to be in FRease, I think I closed it, but if you happen to be in FRease, give us a whole screenshot, not just the error message, because that will tell us the ID, the date, and all sorts of interesting things that we can help you with. So that's kind of like a $1 million answer, a screenshot. So please always include that. We turn around most issues within 2 business days. If you are in the UK, just remember that it might be a little more than 2 business days for you. And if you're in Australia, same sort of thing. Right now, we're running about 1 business day. But as always, if you submit a ticket, and it's really important, after you've submitted the ticket, feel free to call us and ask to talk to support and give them your ticket number. You got a great idea for an enhancement, just go ahead and email us at support as well. Just, hey, I wish FRease did this or whatnot. We review those enhancements on a monthly basis. If a couple people have asked for them or it's something that just really makes sense, we're going to do it. If it's something totally wacky, we're probably not going to do it, and we're going to tell you why, but we'll get back to you either way. We are doing these events constantly for our products to keep our customers up to date. And if you go to csiinc.com/webinars, you will see more of these, including this one that will be recorded. So if you saw something today that you thought was really great and you want to show your coworkers, you can go out there as well and look at it. That's this slide here. FRease and webinars. So our webinars, there's also a sales one out there, but this really is for our customers. So turn it over. Any questions out there, you can go ahead and type them in, and Zach will read them off if anybody comes up with any. And as always, you can, by the way, email me if you have any questions after this or any comments. There's my email address. Love to hear from you, what you like about it, what you don't like about it. And if you copy support at csiinc.com, it'll go in as an enhancement request. Zach?
I don't see any questions. You must have covered it all.
Wow, that's impressive. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for giving up part of your day. I hope you learned something about FRease, and we'll be doing more of these, like I said, throughout the year. So if you own some of our other products, we'll be continuing to do these webinars. Thanks again, and have a great week.